Welcome back, San Diego. We are here again. One of my favorite things to do is to sit, talk with you, learn with you, hopefully bring insight into your life, whether it's, in business, your personal life, your financial life. Part of why we created Under Contract was to bring awareness to those very commitments that you made to yourself, whether it was in your personal life, your business, or all of the above. And today I have a special guest, and, I tend to go off on these trajectories every once in a while and kind of dip into non-real estate topics, because Under Contract in the real estate sense is the real estate sense. But there are some things that we do in life where it makes us pause and reflect upon, where we are in life, the alignment track that we're on, the contracts we've made with ourselves. And today I have a special guest who's going to share a little bit about something that my prayer is that not a lot of you have to go through, whether it's a family law experience, be it divorce or otherwise. I know, personally speaking, I've been through 2 divorces, so I'm all too familiar with the family law court. Not something that I would wish on you, but it happens. And when you're going through divorce, if you're navigating separation, if you're navigating, who gets rights to the child or to the children, it takes a team to help you navigate through that. And I have been fortunate enough to represent clients who are going through a divorce and having a solid attorney represent one of my clients, if you will, going through that transaction, because the divorce is one thing, throw in selling the home, that's another thing, coupled with everything else that can present itself during that transaction. So today I have a family law attorney on, Tony Catena. He started his business, I believe, in San Diego. If not otherwise, he'll share that with you. But I came to know him because he was with a very big firm here in San Diego. He represented one of the clients that I was representing in a transaction. And I have to say, it was flawless in the sense that I didn't even feel like a divorce was happening. But it wasn't without excitement, I can tell you that. So I wanted to bring him on today to talk about his journey as a family law attorney, what prompted him to get involved, some of the important challenges and strategies you need to know when you're going through divorce, or even when you're contemplating separation and dividing the family. So Tony, welcome.
Thank you, Tammy. It's a pleasure to be here.
That was a mouthful that I kind of had to just go through right there.
You hit all the points, though.
So family law, let's talk about this for a second. I mean, I come from a family of lawyers and doctors, and not everyone has the bandwidth to become a family law attorney, just for the obvious reasons.
Totally.
You see and you hear things that we watch on reality shows, right? Like some of the things that you deal with on a daily basis, just with the human beings, right? Fighting with one another, whether it's custodial issues or, financial settlement issues, whatever it might be. Where in your life did you say, that's what I want to do for a living? I want to solve everybody else's problems.
I did not go into law or law school with this in mind. This wasn't even on my radar. I fell into this field kind of by happenstance. Lost a job here in San Diego that I was not great at, and had an opportunity to go move to Los Angeles, work in downtown LA, started doing document prep for people who were representing themselves in family law litigation in the downtown LA courthouse. And it kind of just went from there. It was probably a matter of about 1.5 years before I got into court. And then as time progressed, I just found myself getting into court, going to these hearings, learning on the fly. And family law has its swings of emotion, if you will. One day you're on top of the world because you won, and the next day something went sideways and you didn't, and it feels like the whole world is crashing down. But I liked the feeling of helping people one-to-one, knowing that what you do matters. And that's kind of how I came to be a family law attorney. And I've been doing this for about 12 years, and it's what I know in the practice of law.
So what facet, if not facets, are you marveled by with this niche in law? Because obviously it's one thing to have a family law practice, but then it's another, I would imagine, when you're dealing with families that are going through what they're going through, and the personalities that are involved, and the challenges that present themselves, because it's not linear.
No.
right? What is it about it that fascinates you the most? I mean, you are in a profession where you're helping people, but obviously, you know, and if I were to be a fly on the wall and listen to any one of your given conversations, I would probably say, this is what you really do, Tony. Like, you truly don't want peace in your life. You just want to solve everybody else's problems. Like, what is it about it that you say, this is where I can hang my hat?
I think I like to see the growth of people from the start to the end.
Yeah.
I think people come into an office to meet a family law lawyer. They're scared. They're uncertain. Their life is changing, whether it's their family dynamic at home, their financial situation, their dreams for the future and what that looks like. That is no more. And they come to a family law attorney's office kind of because their life is falling apart, or they're wanting to get out of a situation, the lever or the levy. I'm not sure what's a better way to put that. But they come to you scared and unknown, and then to see that transformation on the other side of the case, at the end of the case, that's the part that I like most about this job. That's what keeps me going, because it's exhausting. It's, you know, it's a lot of fires to put out of the blue on a Thursday morning, and you kind of roll with the punches. And I think that's any litigation field. You close the chess book at the end of the day, and we're not doing heart surgery over here. The courts are closed at 4:30 in the afternoon. We can deal with the things we can deal with, and that's what kind of keeps me going in this job.
So how do you maintain peace during a very trying situation? I mean, you're basically mitigating someone else's life at any given time. So how are you able to keep your wits about you without taking on their stuff, right? The projection, I think, factor is huge here. So how do you not go home at night? And I mean, how do you distance yourself? It's almost like a therapist not taking on that energy of their client, right? So how do you detach and keep that sanity in your life?
It's taken me years to get there. Not without its bumps in the road. I'm sure you can relate to some degree. You're going through a huge transaction with someone. I mean, I tell everyone that comes into my office, your marriage, your partnership, it's the biggest business transaction you'll ever have in your life. In real estate, you dabble in folks' other biggest transactions they're going to have. And it's taken me a long time to learn how to really compartmentalize this. And I can't do it if I'm not taking care of myself too. So, you know, exercise, getting outside, taking care of me first is the key to all of this. Because if I don't do that, then I find myself thinking about these cases when I should be with my family, and it's not the best way to manage a stressful career. So that's always priority number one. And learning how to kind of leave work at work and close that book and then open it when I can actually help my clients again during business hours.
Oh, of course. And you have to draw those boundaries. So what are some of the most complicated cases you've dealt with, and how did you navigate them?
Oh, where to start? I mean, anything related to custody is wild. It involves your kids. There are not a lot of black and white lines that are drawn. It is very gray area. Anything involving kids, custody issues, it's proven to be the most challenging thing by far.
Yeah. So if you were to mentor a young attorney, what advice would you give him or her on this profession and how to maintain that work-life balance?
Like I said, I think taking care of yourself is step number one. Make sure you're in a good place. You're exercising, you're eating right, you're sleeping, you're talking to a therapist, you're doing whatever you need to do to kind of stay sane yourself. Make sure you like people. I think if you don't like people, it's a really tough business to do well in.
Oh my gosh, I would be horrible.
It's not, I don't think that's true at all, Tony. No, it's one of those things where if talking to people in crisis throws your whole day off and you can't, close the book on that phone call and get back to what you were doing, this isn't the field for you. You should go do something transactional where you've got a 3-week runway for a project and you know what it is and you're doing a buy-sell agreement for a business. I don't know. This is a field where you have to enjoy dealing with people, and I'm not going to say enjoy their problems, but you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Otherwise, this this field will eat you up because it is nonstop.
I feel like because I've been through 2 divorces on my own, I feel like you're constantly pivoting. I feel like you're constantly the solution provider. I feel like you're constantly a therapist. I feel like you're constantly, not only are the mediator, negotiator, I liken it to real estate agents because we do wear those hats.
Yeah.
So at any given moment, you have to pivot. So let's say throw in a divorce.
Sure.
Let's say divorce proceedings are commencing and they have to sell the house. And I can say this because I've been there. What are some things a person or a couple should do or not do when you're going through divorce and you have to sell the house? Because obviously, anybody can list the home, but it takes 2 people to actually sell it.
Sure.
Like you have to agree upon that. So what are some things that you would recommend that person or that couple not do if you're going through a divorce and you have to sell the home? Like what are some things that you would coach them to do during that time?
Don't pull money out of the house. Don't encumber the property in any way. Don't act emotionally. Don't dig your heels in when you don't need to. Don't lose sight of the big picture of you guys parties to the case, liquidating what is presumably the biggest asset. I think something that folks get really stuck on is the idea of keeping the house and committing to that without really thinking about what that means. And whether it's a refinance, whether it's the carrying costs of a new note, maintenance on an old house, all of that adds up in ways that I don't think people think about when they are going to the negotiating table, when the topic of selling the home comes up. I see those issues come up way too often. And regardless of which side of the transaction I'm on, you have to kind of counsel the client through that process to make a decision that's really not just going to benefit them in the short term, but also try to foresee 1, 3, 5 years down the line when maybe the support situation changes, maybe there's financial circumstances that are different, and really determining what is the best outcome for the parties or your client.
Right.
With the property at issue.
Right. So given a situation like that, inevitably there's going to be one difficult person.
Of course.
Okay. Super difficult.
Sure.
How do you navigate through that? For example, let's say the spouse that's living in the house and the home's up for sale, and the spouse that's not living in the house wants to come over and gather some belongings because they feel rightfully it's theirs.
Sure.
How do you navigate through issues like that? I know there are certain things you could file, to kind of, I guess, quicken a situation where if he needs to go in there and get some belongings of his and it's time is of the essence situation, he can't just show up. They can't just show up even though it's his house, right? How do you navigate through that in terms of managing the expectations of your client? Because it is highly emotional, right? I mean,
Sure.
Especially if the woman's living in the home and she's just wrought with just all of these emotions because he's leaving her and she doesn't want to sell the house, but he's entitled to come get what is his. How do you navigate through that to manage that person that you're representing to keep them from jumping off the cliff? Because it happens.
Totally. Well, first of all, unless there's a restraining order in effect, both spouses have the right to access the property. Unless there's an exclusive use and control order or some type of domestic violence restraining order, both spouses have access to that community property during the pendency of the case.
Yeah.
The best way to resolve that type of a situation is for both sides to have reasonable attorneys that can identify these are the 10 items that husband or wife needs to come to the house to collect. Can we agree on this? Yes, no problem. He'll put them in the garage and they can open the garage door and get the belongings and put them in the truck and leave. That's your best case scenario. Lawyers get it resolved. I think
Not always the case.
Not always the case. Absolutely not. And otherwise, you have to run into court. You have to get orders. From a counseling standpoint to a client, I try to just really counsel clients on the value of their emotions and then their money going into having their lawyer go back and forth with another lawyer at $400, $500, $600 an hour when the value of the items at issue are like $1,000. Because most of the time it's personal mementos, it's tools, it's things that the spouse in the property doesn't really need,
Right.
but they're holding on to this wedge, this emotional kind of leverage, not really for a good faith reason, just because they're mad.
Right. And it's a control thing too. Like, I've got what you want.
Yeah. And it's it's human nature.
Yep.
And I think to go back to the original question in this business, it is law, of course, but a lot of this is just psychology
Yep.
and humans and their raw emotions as they're going through a transformation of their life.
So when you're going through and you're trying these cases and you take on new clients and you know, you're going about your business, do you ever see a parallel? Because I know in life they say, you know, sometimes or oftentimes things that happen to you or come into your life are a mirror image of what you're going through.
Sure.
Have you ever been in a space where a case presented itself or cases and you said, wow, this is kind of hitting home for me? And not why is it hitting home for me, but oh my gosh, I'm kind of going through this myself.
Totally.
Yeah.
I have been through this process. I have been through a divorce. I have lived a custody battle.
Yeah.
I kind of, as you know, I am currently involved in a very messy custody dispute with my ex and my daughter. And it's a challenge to compartmentalize my personal life from my professional life. But the world doesn't stop turning.
Right.
I kind of have to tell clients that too.
Right.
Like, your life may be feeling like it's falling apart,
But
put your pants on, get in there. Like, it will turn. The world keeps turning and it will turn to the other side and
Right.
things, you know, will hopefully get better. And you just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And yeah, there are definitely things, and you know, there's days where I don't want to get out of bed.
yeah. Yeah.
It's not an option.
Yeah.
You have to keep moving forward.
How do you detach yourself when you're presented with a situation like that, right? Because you can go down that rabbit hole multiple times and you're human, but you also have to remember you've got your family law attorney cap on, right? And how do you dissect where to put your energy as a human being going through that versus what would the family law attorney do here? Like, what
Sure.
would you encourage you if you were your own client?
Oh man, I wish that I'd listened to my advice so many times. You know, I think we're human.
Yeah.
We have our relationships and they're complicated, and I think I would try to give myself some more grace, tell myself to pause and think. I think that's the biggest thing people do is they react emotionally, right? They react without thinking, not one step ahead, but 10 steps ahead.
Yep.
How is this going to come up down the line?
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing is there's never really an advantage to putting something in writing or sending a message or making a phone call or taking really any action when you're emotional.
Yeah.
So go for a walk, go to a yoga class,
Clear
go to
your
the
head.
gym,
Yeah.
go jump in the ocean, go clear your head. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really the advice that I would give to myself these days
Yep.
and that I do is before you go down a rabbit hole and spiral into the what ifs and the speculation and all the fears and the anxieties, get outside for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Go
Ground.
sweat, go
Yeah.
ground.
Yeah.
Just get back to some level of equilibrium. And whenever I do that, I have better ideas. I'm clearer headed. I think about things a little less catastrophically.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of how I would approach that.
So do you feel like you're living out your own case right now with everything that you're going through with your daughter?
I do.
Yeah. And I'm sure you have a good support team around you that's kind of helping you navigate through all of this.
Phenomenal support.
Right. But at the same time, the human factor comes into this and you have to stop and take a step back and go, how in the hell did I get here? Like, how am I my own client right now? How did this happen?
Yeah. You know, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
I have not seen my daughter since January 24th. She was abducted to Mexico 8 months ago by her mother. We are trying to locate her. We believe that my ex-wife's family is assisting her in concealing my daughter from me.
Yeah.
And it is the hardest thing I have ever dealt with.
Yeah.
Day in and day out, to have no contact with your child
Yeah.
is a grief that I can't really describe because it's not like a death.
Yeah.
There's not like a moving on. It's just this open thing that is always there. You go to bed thinking about it. You wake up thinking about it.
It's heavy. Yeah.
And it's heavy. And I mean, I had to move my daughter's toys into like her room just so I don't walk in and see it when I'm coming home. And I blink sometimes and I wonder, how did my life end up here? I hope a lot of those questions can be answered in time and in the appropriate forum. But I'm just, I have to just keep on doing this, and the alternative is stopping, and that's not an option for me.
Not an option.
I've got to do whatever it takes to get my daughter home and back in Orange County where she has a life and a family and a community, and it's the biggest fight of my life, but it is the point of my life right now, and everything else I'm doing to support that goal.
Yeah. And I feel like you're equipped for it because of everything that you've done up until this point. I mean, think about it. Had this happened to you 2 or 3 years ago, you probably wouldn't be as equipped to handle it.
No, I wouldn't.
Because of what you were going through at that time.
Yeah. I mean, this all happened a couple years after my divorce. And my ex and I had a complicated relationship, and we spent a lot of time together after we separated, and we reconciled on again, off again. Human relations are complex, and I think there's a lot of assumptions from the outside that, oh, what are you doing? Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And it's hard to explain, even as a family law professional, when I say, do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly, right?
This is not the advice that I think I would have probably given myself as an objective third party, but it is what it is. We had a kid, we have a kid, we had pets, we had a life. And, I don't think I would have been equipped when the emotions were so raw. It took time. It took kind of personal growth. And then, when this happened in the just catastrophic way it did, I had no choice but to fight for my daughter's life and my own.
Yeah. And I feel like now that you fast forward and you are going through it, you're more skilled, and your emotional bandwidth, I think, is a lot greater now in order to deal with this because of the fact that you've been through what you've been through, which goes to show what kind of attorney you are, right? I mean, because this experience is going to take you to another level in your career because you've gone through it, because you can speak to this now when you're presented with this. So I feel like God will put things in your path, not because he's trying to be funny, because he's preparing you for something else. You would not have been prepared for this years ago. You're prepared for it now. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, I can't believe it's happening. Yeah, I'm this family law attorney. I should know how to handle this, but to whom much is given, much is required. And you are on this trajectory now. I feel like that's only going to make you not only a better person, but a better family law attorney because of this traumatic experience. Well, I hope by the time this airs that, we have a happy news to report that she's back and that she's in Orange County, because I really feel like you're doing an amazing job spreading awareness.
Thank you.
And whatever I can do on my platforms, I'm helping you with. And you guys, check out my social media. Make sure you pay attention to it. If there's something on there about Tony's daughter, please spread it. Please be aware, and please reach out to me or him if you have any information. But I have a good feeling by the time this airs, we're going to have good news to report. So I'm going to put that out there.
Fingers crossed. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So
from your mouth to God's ears. Tammy.
This is it, right? So, and I have a big mouth and I can talk, so I'll be sure to spread the word. So, what are some things, what's like sage advice that you would give someone? And again, I'm speaking from experience because I've been through 2 divorces. And I can say the first one, I was too young. It's a mulligan. It was a do-over for me because I was too young, 6 months. I forget the legal term, but we filed a
joint petition?
No, it's a
annulment.
6 months in, we're like done. It didn't really happen.
So you've only been divorced once.
Truthfully, because that's a mulligan do-over.
Yeah.
But it was young, so it didn't count. Then I waited 15 years to get married, and I thought he was the one, lo and behold, he was an alcoholic, didn't know that, didn't see it, didn't sign up for that.
Sure.
But it rocked my world. Like, it rocked my belief system. It rocked what the heck? This is not supposed to be happening to me. But I had a good attorney that helped me through this. But I also didn't know there was things I shouldn't have done while going through a divorce.
Sure.
So what are some tips to someone who is going through divorce for the first time? They have no clue where to start. They don't even have an attorney. They're in fear. Their whole life is being wrecked at the moment. That person that's filing for the divorce was their support system.
Sure.
What advice would you give them? Are there services that they can call to say, hey, this is what I'm going through. I don't have a lawyer. How do I do this? What are some tips you could give them?
So I think in that situation where you are the spouse who is what we call the out spouse, you don't have the information, you rely on the financial support of the other parent, other spouse. If you have kids or you don't have kids, make sure you and your kids are safe.
Yeah.
Step number one, know as much as you can in terms of the financials, get documents to the extent you're able, bank accounts, credit cards. All of those are going to have to be disclosed in the divorce process in the disclosures phase of your case. But people aren't forthcoming when you're going through divorce. You know, people hide assets, debts, whatever it may be. Get as much information as you can and talk to some professionals. I think, you know, any lawyer should give you 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes of time to at least steer you in the right direction.
Yep.
In this day and age, it's really tough because a lot of people will avoid that and jump on ChatGPT and find out what to do when they get divorced in California. And you're cleaning up a lot of messes when you let AI and the internet give you advice on how to deal with your legal problems.
So true.
It's akin to like Googling your symptoms on WebMD and then going to your doctor and being like, well, I did X, Y, and Z for this rash and now it's infected when you probably should have gotten some medical treatment early on. But I think those are really the biggest things you can do from the outset of your case. Like make sure you're safe, get your financial ducks in a row, even if it's just knowledge about what is there from an income, assets, debt standpoint. And with that information, kind of write it down so you have your own kind of running list of notes and questions, and then go talk to a pro. Go find someone that'll give you 15, 20, 30 minutes, or go pay for an hour of someone's time and really dive into it, get a direction. A lot of cases can be resolved with the help of good, reasonable, experienced professionals. Fighting in family law for the sake of fighting is like the worst thing you can do. You're not going to get justice in a family court.
That sounds just horrible.
You're not going to feel better because you made them pay legally.
Yeah.
You want to go to court to get orders that are in the best interest of your kids, orders for financial support that make life somewhat sustainable.
Right.
It's not going to be easy on either side, whether you're paying it or you're receiving it, unless you married a multi-millionaire. Support is not going to generally be enough to carry you through in Southern California alone.
Right. You know, a lot of emotions come up when I'm just hearing you say that, because it's not everyone is emotionally intelligent when it comes to that, right? No. Because the emotions are so high that there's a divorce going on here.
Sure.
Whether it's because they were cheating or they were abusive or all of the above, you're dealing with that psychology of it. And then you throw in, okay, we're not going to be a unit anymore.
Yep.
Even though I hate you and you hurt me, I don't know that I want this to happen because my whole world is rocked, right? Yeah. So you've got to throw that in there. So are there resources out there available for someone who doesn't have a lot of money to pay for an attorney?
There are. The self-help center at the courts is usually the starting place for folks. It's free.
Right.
But you will wait in line and it will take time. There are various legal aid organizations, also free, also take time. There are some attorneys that are, flat fee or lower cost, affordable, limited scope representation where you have a lawyer come on for your custody hearing and support hearing only, but you deal with the rest yourself. Those can all be ways to kind of save money on the margins. Not every case needs a $25,000 retainer. Not every case needs a $900 an hour lawyer.
Right.
And not every case needs to go on for 3 years. Most people don't have complicated enough estates or custody issues that require ongoing litigation to go on for 18, 24 months.
Yeah.
I mean, really, those cases should be reserved for very complex estates and complex custody issues where there are mental health issues with the kids,
Oof, yeah.
disabilities with the kids, where there are bona fide disputes. A lot of disputes around custody are emotional.
Oh, yeah.
They're not necessarily health, safety, welfare concerns.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of estates and financial issues aren't that complicated. I mean, really, at the end of the day, the court's going to divide the assets equally or as close to equally as possible.
And that's fair. I mean,
That's what the law is.
right. And then you're dealing with maybe one of the, like if your client or the opposing counsel's client doesn't see it that way, right? And they're like,
Yeah.
no, I'm entitled to 90% and she's entitled to 10 or vice versa.
Sure.
Then you're throwing that into it, right? Which I feel like is unnecessary emotional garbage.
It is.
That you're just dirtying a dirty process already. It doesn't have to be dirty.
Yeah, it doesn't. And sometimes it's just, I think it's misaligned expectations.
Yeah.
Could be a scenario where 20 years ago, wife's parents gave them money
Right.
to put into the house.
Right.
And they got $100,000 and they told them it was a gift.
Oh.
But 20 years down the line, they say, nope, this was a loan and here's this loan agreement. But they can't trace the money. And at the end of the day, when you're going to court, it's not about what you say or your contentions. What can you prove? And what can you prove with evidence?
Yes.
And is your evidence admissible?
Yes.
Just because you have some document that you signed 20 years ago and now both your parents have passed, but you are waving around this piece
Right.
of paper trying to get $100,000 back off the top plus the interest on the note, like you can't get there. And
Right.
if you commit to that and you try to
Right.
take that all the way, you're going to spend $50,000 fighting that issue
Right.
to lose.
Right.
And some lawyers are all too quick to take your money, just be your mouthpiece, fight the fight you want to have. I don't like doing that.
Right.
I think it just leads to resentment at the end. And it's not a good way to build trust
Yeah.
because you get the client all, expecting
Worked
one
up,
thing
yeah,
and worked
yeah.
up, and they've spent all this money
Yeah.
thinking, okay, this is an investment. I'm going to spend 50 because I'm going to get 100, and then they spend 50 and they don't get it, and they blame it on you.
Of course.
And they go, this is your fault.
Of course.
And, no, I gave you the risks. I told you
Yeah.
you wanted to do this. It doesn't end well.
No,
So,
and when you're in court, I mean, facts are facts, right?
That's it.
I don't think a judge, with all due respect, I don't think that they have the time nor the emotional bandwidth to sit here and dilly-dally around, allegations or accusations that aren't founded, right? I mean, facts are facts. What does this document say? What does this document say? Did it happen? Did you sign it? Boom. Those are facts.
what can you prove?
Yeah.
And do you have the credibility that I can rely on what you're saying is
Right,
true?
right.
Once you lose credibility in the courtroom, you're never getting it back.
That's it.
It's it. You get one shot.
I've seen that all too many times. I can
yeah.
understand that. So now you are on your own.
Yep.
And if you were to give advice to someone getting into this business besides the work-life balance, if somebody were watching this and they say, I want to be a family law attorney, what's one tip you would give them? And the second thing is, where do you see your business going now that you're out on your own? Are you going to shift gears given what you're currently going through personally?
Sure.
Are you going to focus on more of helping that sector, right? Because this is a very niche thing that you're going through. One tip you would give to someone who wants to become a family law
Sure.
lawyer, and where do you see your business going? What's on the horizon for Tony?
First question, I think if someone was getting into this game, going back to the self-help center at court, I would tell someone to go volunteer over there.
Oh, wow.
You're going to get immediate client interaction.
Wow.
It's no risk because you're working for the courts. You're going to learn what these papers look like at the very basic level.
Yeah.
And you're going to get a feel for whether this business is for you. I credit my entire time in family law with where I started. It was ground level. It was sitting across from someone at a table, hearing their story, taking the skills you learn as a legal writer, law student, baby lawyer, and you're typing up their declaration.
That's exciting.
And that's it's
I
the
love
first
that.
it's the first real work you get
Yeah.
as a lawyer. Because
love
otherwise you
that.
go work at a firm, you're going to sit in some windowless office, and more likely than not, you're going to be doing discovery, writing research memos.
Schlepping. You're just schlepping around.
Yep. Schlepping the boss's
Yes,
bags.
that's
and
it.
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
You learn different skills there.
Right.
If you want to learn how to deal with people and do the things that they're not going to teach you at a firm for years and years and years, because why would they? If it's a big firm and they're charging $1,000 an hour for the partners and the clients are worth $100 million. As a 25-year-old, you have no business really having an opinion on their case, going to court and saying anything, and really talking to the client without your boss present.
Right.
Working with the public in the courts is the best way, or with a nonprofit that deals with the public in like that low cost legal aid setting, in my opinion, is the best way for you to get real client experience, which I think is the most important thing.
Yep.
If you can get into court for like the San Diego Volunteer Lawyer Program, for example,
I love that.
I think that that's huge. You will just get a lot of the intangible skills that you can't learn otherwise. And I think the biggest point of advice for brand new lawyers is like 5 years in, you're all going to be at about the same level. The difference is if you've spent 5 years going to court and like getting in there, you might get punched in the face. You might like fall on your face, probably embarrass yourself. You'll probably make mistakes. But if you compare yourself 5 years into a lawyer that's been just at a firm that hasn't left the discovery room, writing motions and memos, you will have the edge when it comes to clients having confidence in you as their lawyer, as their advocate.
I love that. It's hands-on.
Hands-on.
And I think a lot of it too, Tony, is, you know, you have to get out of your own head,
Totally.
right? To be able to say, okay, this is a great opportunity. I'm learning.
Sure.
It's hands-on, and not allow it to be so much about your identity at that moment. I'm a lawyer, right? But
Totally.
right? Because there's a level of ego there,
Of course,
where, you know what, I need to learn this somehow. But this hands-on experience is going to make me a better lawyer down the line.
I mean, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
The first time I was in there in court, I'm sweating through my suit.
Yeah.
I've never talked to a judge before. I've got this client next to me. It was beyond stressful.
Right.
And the first time a judge, you know, shot me down and the client screamed at me in court. I mean, I think I was 27 years old and I was just beside myself.
My gosh.
And then I woke up the next day and like life goes on.
Right.
You know, so it's okay. It's just how it goes. It's like part of life.
Yeah.
And you know, from working for years, you have bad days.
Yeah.
And you just move through them. You get to the next one and really no one cares that much.
No.
To be honest, like, and the people that carry on, and, you know, I've had clients and they're mad, and, you know, people get mad and they have bad outcomes. And, you know, as a lawyer, I think the thing that it's hard to convey to clients in the moment, because you have to also empathize. Like, I didn't get you here.
Right.
You came to me with a problem.
Your choices, your
life. I didn't decide to have a relationship with that person. I didn't tell you to have a kid with that person.
That's right.
I didn't tell you to take all the choices and make all the decisions you made that got you into my office.
Right.
I'm here. This is how I think I can help you. But I can't help you if you won't help yourself. If you're not going to take responsibility, if you're not going to back off your position and like find some type of reasonable compromise, then sure, you can pay me instead of paying him or her or whatever the outcome is. That's not going to get you to the other side of this.
And a lot of ego comes into play there too. And you have to manage that as a psychologist. Yeah. So where is your business going now? Where do you feel like you're going with all the things that you're going through? So,
I mean, this has forever transformed my kind of life and my professional track. I worked for two very big firms before this. And so I'm on my own now, which I love the autonomy for where I'm at in life. It has allowed me flexibility to, you know, tend to these issues. I really am enjoying the boutique, low volume practice. It works for me. I think that I can give clients good one-on-one attention. I can control my rate. I can control my time. And at this juncture, you know, my plan is just be super available for my daughter when she's home, make a good living that's comfortable, go to the beach when I want, go to the gym when I want. And then, really just give the clients that sign up with me and trust me with their case and their lives, the best service that I can give them, my way, my style, you know, talk to folks how I am. I mean, you've known me a long time. I try to be authentic and shoot straight. And, you know, I think that, you know, if I had a competitive advantage in this field, like, I get it. Yeah. I get what you're going through. Yeah. I do understand. I have been there. And I can tell you that, like, the other side of this can get better. And so, that's the confidence I try to instill in my clients. I've got a distinct memory of a client when I was in San Diego, came into my office in June, got divorced by November, and the transformation from when he came in to when he left was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
We've stayed in touch.
Yeah.
Just fantastic guy, and and those are the people that I want to work with. And now that I have the selectivity to choose who I work with and how I work with them, I think that I'm on a track that I'm really excited about.
And what's really what I admire about you, and I can say this because of my profession as well, clients come to you because of your relatability, and they come to you because of the work that you put out and what you espouse. And it's hard for me to hire someone if I don't feel like that person's gone through what I'm going through. And it's the same in real estate, right? Like I've been through what you're going through. I know what you feel. It gets better. Trust me. This isn't forever. This is a screen snapshot of what's going on right now. But the fact that you've been through what you're helping them go through, that's such a confidence boost for your clients to know.
Sure.
And especially your transparency, especially your authenticity. You shoot straight from the hip. And you guys, if you need a great family law attorney, he is a very good family law attorney. I've worked with him in previous cases. I can tell you right now, what you see is what you get with him. But you want someone to fight for you. And that's one thing that I pride myself on when it comes to my business is I'm not just your real estate agent. I'm your advocate. I'm your confidant. And you take that same role. You take that same approach.
Totally.
My heart goes out to you.
Thank you.
My heart goes out to your daughter. I have lifted her up in prayer. I've lifted you up in prayer. She's going to come back soon. I can feel that. I'm putting it out there. And you guys, if you need a family law attorney, I will have Tony Catena's information available. Direct message me. Tony, how can they get a hold of you directly?
You can go to my website, catenafamilylaw.com. My number is 949-520-6460. Comes directly to me. When you work with me, you're working with me. And that's it. That's the best way to get in touch. If you have a family law question, a consult, you can go through, set up a free 15-minute consultation on my website. Give me a call. That's where I'm at, and I'm happy to help whoever needs help in this crazy family law space.
It's there. And you guys, if you need any more information or you want to get a hold of Tony, just reach out to me. I can put you in his direction. Say a prayer for him. Say a prayer for his family. Just nothing but good vibes coming to you. As always, be mindful of the commitments you make to yourself, whether it's to you, your partner, your family, your friends, your business. Honor those commitments. Honor those contracts. And as always, San Diego, peace out.